Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Elder Scrolls Lore, and today before we start I'd like to thank Ares for allowing me to use his music, and I'd like to make a shout out to the podcast I'm now a part of along with Imperial Knowledge, HB and Kuyo of HB Productions, and occasionally Kukai when he can, and we'll be having a new guest on every episode, so feel free to join that. We talk about lore, gaming, and a bunch of other topics that involve the community as well. And feel free to join the Discord chat I have, the link will be in the description below, as well as there's a link in my channel header. Now, that being said, let's start with today's topic on the city-state of Winterhold in Skyrim. Winterhold is one of the 9 major cities of Skyrim, and it is the capital of the region that holds the same name, the Winterhold region. Throughout history, Winterhold was the capital of Skyrim and the center of progress in the entire province. However, the city would lose its status after the Great Collapse, when a large majority of the city had plunged into the Sea of Ghosts. The scope of Greater Winterhold is largely unknown. There are no accurate representations of the city before the Great Collapse. The only time we ever see it is during the Elder Scrolls Arena, and it's not too much there. The ruins of Winterhold during the 4th era are much smaller than the other cities of Skyrim, even smaller than some of the villages like Rorikstead. Now, the road that leads through the city run to the College of Winterhold, located on a mountain sticking out of the Sea of Ghosts. The college and the town are connected by a bridge that was destroyed nearly by the Great Collapse. The city of Winterhold is also the most isolated city in all of Skyrim. It is located in the snowy mountains of the north around Mount Anthor. Now, most of the city had plunged into the Sea of Ghosts, leaving ruined homes in its wake. The Jarl's Longhouse was most likely not the seat of power in times before the Great Collapse, but being the largest building left, it became the center of politics in the Winterhold region. The foundation of Winterhold has been told throughout myths, describing the exploits of the great wizard Shalador. According to some rumors, Shalador created the city of Winterhold with the simple whispering spell that followed after the creation of the Labyrinthian and the College of Winterhold. Shalador was one on the opposite spectrum on magic accessibility, while Galarian believed that magic should be given to the common folk. Shalador wanted to enhance the standard on magic within magic users. This ideology led to the creation of different schools of magic, the College of Winterhold, something that would become the staple of the city. Shalador would later create the Isle of Ivea, a haven for the mages of Tamriel. It eventually was absorbed into the Shivering Isles and brought back into Tamriel. Now, during the early years of the First Era, Borgias was the High King of Skyrim, residing in the city of Winterhold, the capital at the time of Skyrim. Borgias was a staunch supporter of the Elysian Order, the religion that worshipped throughout the Elysian Empire. Seeing that the Wood Elves of Valenwood were not the followers of the Order, he orchestrated an invasion of Valenwood. This joint war resulted in the annihilation of the Wild Hunt, a ritual performed by the Bosmer where they would turn into feral forms of themselves, to the point where they would act like feral animals. The Wild Hunt killed Borgias. As a result, records say his body was never found until the 4th era in the ruins of Covengund. Borgias was the last of the Ysgramor dynasty, a family dating back to the Merethic era and Etmora itself. A moot was then created to determine the new High King of the province. However, the moot proved to be a failure when it failed to recognize Jarl Hans of Winterhold to be the next High King. This sparked the War of Succession, where many fought for the throne. It ended in 420 of the First Era when Olaf One-Eye became the High King and signed the Pact of Chieftains, which states that the moot is only used when a High King dies without any heirs. The moot has filled this role admirably and has been used several times throughout the next eras. Now, in 2804 of the First Era, the city of Winterhold had manifested a rebellion within its walls known as the Winterhold Rebellion. It was in large response to the Emperor Kostov Cyrodiil's order to kidnap several people from Markarth and Herolden to ensure that the local Jarls would meet their conscription quota. Now, for unknown reasons, the Master of the Dragon Guard did not allow the Dragon Guard to participate in quelling the rebellion. This led to the Emperor cutting off their supplies, and this in turn led to the Grand Master allowing his men to fight against the rebellion. Now, after some time, Kostov would step down as Emperor and be replaced by Reman Cyrodiil II, who sought to fix all of Kostov's mistakes, including the Winterhold Rebellion. In 2805 of the First Era, the Dragon Guard had denied an Akaviri man named Kalian, and this led to their sanctuary of Skyhaven Temple to be besieged by Kalian. He was denied entrance into the Dragon Guard for a reason, and so after he destroyed the temple, he traveled to the city of Winterhold and then sacked it with his powerful magic. This event would be known as the Sack of Winterhold. After the siege on the temple was lifted, Rima II was named Emperor, and the Dragon Guard was honored to guard the Emperor during his travels in Skyrim, boosting their prestige. With this newfound respect, the Skyhaven Temple was able to construct Alduin's Wall and the Blood Seal of Skyhaven. During the reign of the Akaviri Potentate, the province of Skyrim was ruled by High King Logroth, who was a close ally of Verisidue Shay. However, unfortunately, he was assassinated around the same time in 431 of the Second Era. Eyes were looking towards Freydis, Logroth's daughter, assuming she would be the next High Queen of Skyrim into the future. Now, controversy would soon arise from the Kingdom of Solitude when Jarl Svattir would claim that Freydis was an illegitimate heir to the throne, and that a moot would need to be held to find a new leader. When the moot had spoken, the leaders of Skyrim voted that Svattir should become the next High King. However, the Crown of Verity, the one that had chosen the High King for generations since Olaf One-Eye had chosen Freydis to become the High Queen. The province then divided. The Nords of the Old Hold followed Freydis, while the Nords of the West, Skyrim, followed Svattir. Skyrim had split into two separate kingdoms, which would later affect the province in the following years. The city of Winterhold, as well as the Winterhold region, would join the Eastern Skyrim Kingdom. Years later, the Kingdom of Eastern Skyrim would come under the control of Jurun Skald King of Windhelm, and this is where the Nords of Skyrim would also join up with the Ebonheart Pact, and Winterhold would go along with this. In 313 of the Third Era, the Septim Empire had ruled over the continent. At this time, the empire was governed by Uriel Septim IV, who was not actually given control until he was 22 years old. Now, one of his substantial allies was Morihatha Septim, who was given power after marrying Ulfi Gerson, the Baron of Winterhold. The Septim Empire would then rule over the barony of Winterhold for a good amount of time, giving them significant power and wealth. Granted, this is before the Great Collapse. Uriel IV then fell off his horse and died. Morihatha had been taken to the throne at age 25. She was described as one of the most beautiful women in all of Tamriel, and was considered a shrewd politician and well-trained warrior. She brought the Archmagister of Skyrim into Cyrodiil, bringing the second Imperial battle mage ever since Zurin Arctis back when Tiber Septim was still ruler. During the waning years of the Third Era, the city of Winterhold had undergone a renaissance due to the sudden influx of Dunmeri refugees from Morrowind, many seeking to go to the College of Winterhold. The Dark Elves had brought new, fresh ideas, enriching their culture and simulating its old and mercantile spirit. Scholars from all over Tamriel would then travel to the college to look at the Ysmir Collective, which were books salvaged from the East and the cornerstone of academic life. The Elves of Morrowind have come as far from the Telvanni district in eastern Morrowind. As time went on, the Nords had grown to distrust and really separate themselves from the lives of magic enthusiasts, and this would become very stressful and tense for the years to come. Many Dark Elves would later move back to Morrowind after the events of the Red Year had occurred in the next era. Now, in the aftermath of the Oblivion Crisis, there was a huge distrust against mages. Ironic, since mages were the forefront against Daedric invaders of the Deadlands. The College of Winterhold expected this backlash and was hoping to have it pass by. However, this was not the case. The Red Year would occur in the year 5 of the Fourth Era, and had impacted Morrowind significantly when Barad-dûr had crashed onto the city of Vivec. This event caused Red Mountain to erupt and plague the province with endless seas of ash. The Dunmeri fled westward, across the mountains to places all across the Old Holds, with Winterhold becoming a popular attraction. As time went on, the Dunmeri folk began to leave and return to Morrowind. The island of Solstheim was given to the Dark Elves by the High King of Skyrim, and it was there they re-established the town of Ravenrock under the Councillor Lair Morvion. Now, this is where small pockets of Dunmer were living in Winterhold that endured the growing hatred of local Nords. Things would take a turn for the worst. In the year 122 of the Fourth Era, the city of Winterhold was under the control of Jarl Vladimir. he had a close friendship with Archmage Deneth, who then was the leader of the College of Winterhold for about a year. The Sea of Ghosts had been experiencing a series of ravaging waves that had caused significant damage to the city. On one fateful and unexpected day, the city had given away, resulting in the disastrous event known as the Great Collapse. The college is not affected by the collapse due to the magical power surrounding and safeguarding it. However, many of the cities of Winterhold would then blame the mages of the college for having prepared for the event and not warned the city. This rumor had caused distrust of the mages to increase significantly. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking today. And it spread across Skyrim like a plague. The relationship between the court of Winterhold and the college had significantly diminished, affecting the pursuit of magical studies in Skyrim for years. Now, during 201 of the Fourth Era, the Skyrim Civil War broke out, and the city of Winterhold was under the rule of Jarl Corir, who was raised to hate the College of Winterhold. Being the first generation to experience Winterhold in its destruction, this was expected. Corir and his court had a distrust with the mages, resulting in more hostility between them and the college. Around the same time, the province of Skyrim had undergone a civil war between the Mede dynasty of Skyrim, or the Empire obviously, and the Nords of Skyrim under the Stormcloak Rebellion. Jarl Corir was a staunch supporter of the Stormcloaks, which operated under the city of Windhelm, under Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak. Winterhold in its current Winterhold in its current state was unable to offer any substantial help during the rebellion, but served nonetheless. The Stormcloaks had a holding in the region known as Fort Kostov, named after Emperor Kostov Cyrodiil, and it was located in the Pale in the northern Winterhold coast. Now, next to what happens, I'm not going to explain too much because I actually consider this to be one of the better storylines of Skyrim. So I'm not going to say too much about it, but I'm going to summarize it. There's a certain student who goes to find the Staff of Magnus and essentially finds it in the Labyrinthian and returns back to the College of Winterhold to find that a Thalmor agent named Ancano had been trying to exploit the Eye of Magnus for its power. And essentially, this certain student, or the Dragonborn, in a sense, defeats them and is able to become the Archmage of Winterhold. Or the college, at least, the College of Winterhold. Now, again, I don't want to go too much into it because if you have not played it, which I'm sure a majority of us have, it is one of the better of the storylines in Skyrim, so I do highly recommend it. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I honestly did not expect it to be this long, hence why you see the repeated clips. That being said, this took me for fucking ever to do. I don't normally swear in these videos, but man, my audio just did not want to work with me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please like and subscribe if you enjoy. And I hope to see you around. It probably took me about 45 minutes to an hour. About 45 minutes because I started this at 4 a.m. and it's 4:41 a.m. right now to record a 13 and a half minute video. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you guys around. Peace.